God's chosen ones, this is no joke. You must hear this right now. Tonight, if you're hearing these words, stop for a moment. Don't scroll away. Don't open another window. Just listen. The clock in front of you just flicked to 11:44. The minute hand hesitates, as if even time itself is holding its breath. Outside, the fourth bell echoes softly through the night, drifting through the air, touching the quiet, touching your chest. Did your heart just skip a beat? Did your chest tighten, not from fear, but from something awakening inside you? Don't worry, you didn't miss here. You're not here by accident. Nothing in this world is random, especially not tonight. Imagine this, your room, a faint golden light spilling across the wall. And in that still moment, a voice rises from somewhere you cannot place. Not from your phone, not from another person, but from deep within you, from that part of faith that never went out. That voice whispers, God's chosen one. 3 simple words, yet they send chills through your soul. Why? Because you've heard them before in the quiet of your heart, but you didn't dare believe. Yet tonight at 11:44, that voice returns, not to warn, not to judge, but to awaken. You've walked through so many seasons thinking you were merely surviving, but the truth is you were being prepared. You thought loneliness was a punishment, but it was the pause where God placed his hand over your heart and whispered, I'm still here. And if your heart is beating faster right now, that's not anxiety. That's a signal, a reminder that tonight is not an ordinary night. 11:44, the moment between two worlds. Just one more minute, and everything will shift. Because the moment you truly listen, heaven begins to speak. So wherever you are sitting alone in your small room, or lying in bed with the phone light glowing on the ceiling, take a deep breath. Let your heartbeat fall in rhythm with the fading bell. Let your soul open just for these few seconds, because God is calling you by your real name. And this story begins the very moment the clock strikes 11:44. Tonight, the sign has been sent. The room is so still you can hear the clock hand glide through each second. The nightlight paints a thin, pale gold line across the wall, soft as breath. Outside the window, the wind stirs the branches, slipping through the cracks, carrying the damp scent of earth after early rain. You sit there alone, surrounded by a night so familiar it feels like an old friend. Your phone screen fades to black. The house sleeps, but inside you something refuses to rest. Something that will not sleep, will not stay silent. 3 a.m. The number appears again like an anchor, holding you between faith and despair. You've asked yourself this question so many times. Does anyone really see me? There were nights so quiet you could hear your own heartbeat, and you wondered why it kept beating when there was nothing left to wait for. There were mornings when you looked in the mirror and saw a stranger staring back, eyes tired, as if the life had long slipped away. You thought you were invisible, that if you disappeared, the world would keep turning and no one would notice. But you were wrong. Tonight, I've been sent to tell you this. Not with logic, but with spirit. You are not invisible. You have never been forgotten. Everything you've endured has never been meaningless. Every tear that soaked your pillow, every whispered prayer that no one heard was recorded. Line by line, word by word, breath by breath, your name is engraved, not on sand that the wind can erase, but on the hands of the one who made you. When you thought God was silent, he was preparing. When you thought he turned away, he was standing right behind you, waiting for your heart to be still enough to hear. Because there are messages that cannot be heard in the noise, only in the silence. Look around you. Everything is aligning to send a signal. 404 flashes on your screen. A small feather lands by the window. An old melody suddenly plays the same song you once loved when you still believed in miracles. None of this is random. Nothing is. Tonight the sign has been sent. Not from me, not from the world, but from heaven straight to you. If you're hearing this now, it means you were chosen to receive this message exactly at this moment. Not earlier, not later, right when you needed it most. Because you've walked far enough through the darkness to be worthy of the light that's coming. Because you've been silent long enough for God to finally speak. And He is speaking now through every heartbeat, every breath, every trembling in your hands. You are not alone. I am still here. So don't go looking for answers outside. Just close your eyes and whisper softly, I hear you. Tonight, every signal is pointing to you. A door is opening. A new journey is about to begin. And in this gentle darkness, where your breath meets the wind, God is calling you by your true name. Part 1. The desert is not a punishment. Do you remember those endless nights when opening your eyes meant morning had already come? Bills stacked high, red numbers blinking on your phone screen, the bank's reminder tone ringing like a cruel little melody. You tried to smile when someone asked, "Are you okay?" but didn't even know where to begin. Sometimes you just wished for one day when you didn't have to be strong anymore. That night, maybe it was mid-August or the heart of winter, you knelt under the dim yellow light and whispered, God, if this is punishment, please tell me what I've done wrong. But heaven stayed silent. No sound. No sign. The truth is, heaven never punished you. Heaven was preparing you. The winds that came against you weren't meant to break you, but to teach your wings how to face the storm. Just like Joseph, betrayed by his own brothers and thrown into a pit. In the darkness, he thought his life was over. But the pit was not a grave. It was the doorway to a palace. If there had been no pit, there would be no throne. If there had been no betrayal, there would be no destiny to save a nation from famine. And you, those who left you the chances that slipped away the seasons, when you thought you'd been abandoned, were all heaven's hands, pushing you out of places that no longer belonged to you. Look at Moses, 80 years old, bent back silver hair, tending sheep in the wilderness. He must have thought his story was over. Yet right there, God appeared in the burning bush and said, now you are finally ready. What the world calls too late, heaven calls right on time. And Job, the man who lost everything, children, wealth, health, he sat in ashes, scraping his wounds, watching his world fall apart. Do you see yourself in him? You've lost what you loved most. You've felt stripped of everything. You've wanted to give up. But Job didn't abandon his faith. He said, though he slay me, yet will I trust him. And in the end, God restored double of all he had lost. Because in the language of heaven, loss is never the end. It's the overture of restoration. Can you see it now? Even in the dry desert, something inside you still lives, still believes even if it's just a flicker, still calls out even when strength is gone, still walks even without knowing where. That is true faith, not faith that rests on miracles, but faith that remembers he once saved you. The desert is not where you die. The desert is where you are transformed. There, everything unnecessary is stripped away. Pride, fear, comparison, resentment, until only one thing remains, you and him. When every earthly door closes, it's because heaven is about to open a window. When every voice goes silent, it's because he wants you to hear your own, the voice that's been buried beneath the world's noise. You've looked into the mirror and asked, who am I? But God doesn't see someone defeated. He sees a warrior being forged in fire. Sometimes heaven doesn't say fight. Sometimes it says stand still, because standing in faith through a storm is already a form of victory. If you are in that desert right now, remember this: no night lasts forever. No trial is meaningless, and no tear is forgotten. You may not hear anything, but somewhere beyond what you see, heaven is moving. Everything is being arranged, step by step, hour by hour, heartbeat by heartbeat. Maybe today you're still juggling unpaid bills, a broken relationship, or a dream left unfinished. But believe this, none of it marks the end of your story. It's simply the pause before heaven writes the next chapter. You are not being punished. You are being trained. Not to become perfect, but to become both strong and gentle, like water soft, yet unbreakable, able to flow through stone without losing its essence. When you think you have nothing left to give, remember the widow with only a small jar of oil. She still poured it out, and the oil never ran dry. Blessing isn't found in how much you have, but in the faith to pour out even when it seems empty. And one day, somewhere in the quiet of a weary night, you will hear a soft voice, not from the outside, but from within. You have overcome, not because you did everything right, not because you were stronger than others, but because you didn't give up. That's how heaven recognizes the chosen ones, not with fireworks, not with thunder, but with a whisper, soft as breath. You have overcome. And in that moment, the desert within you begins to bloom. Part 2. Divine Anesthesia, the operating room of heaven. Have you ever felt as if your body was carrying the weight of the entire world? Each morning you open your eyes and find no strength to rise. Things that once came easily now feel as impossible as moving a mountain. You no longer have the energy to smile, nor the drive to keep pushing. Your mind and spirit feel wrapped in a heavy fog, so tired you just want to sleep deeply, but even sleep doesn't bring rest. You think, maybe I've grown weak, maybe my faith is fading. But no, chosen one, don't be mistaken. You are not growing weaker, you are being placed on heaven's operating table. What you are feeling right now isn't exhaustion, it's divine anesthesia. It's the moment when God whispers to your soul, be still, don't resist, I'm working. When a surgeon prepares to save someone's life, the first thing they do is make the patient still, not to harm them, but to protect them from hurting themselves. In the same way, when God sees you've pushed yourself to your limits, He says, now lie still. I will replace this heart and touch the wounds you cannot heal. That's why you feel heavy, slow, and no longer passionate about what once excited you, because He's changing the entire system of your soul. Everything that once ran on willpower, striving, and self-pressure is being uninstalled and reprogrammed with something new. Rest in faith. You think you're falling behind, but in truth, you're being reset. Every old line of code, fear, trauma, the pressure to prove yourself, is being carefully removed. And this cannot happen while you're still running, striving, competing. It only happens in stillness. Remember Elijah. After running into the wilderness, he collapsed under a tree and said, Lord, it's enough. I'm tired. And God didn't rebuke him. He sent an angel to touch his shoulder and say, get up and eat. Elijah ate, then slept again. And the angel came a second time. Get up and eat, for the journey ahead is long. That is the miracle of restoration, not through thunder, not through spectacle, but through the rhythm of breathe, eat, rest. God was teaching Elijah and you that true recovery doesn't come from effort, but from trusting rest. Many fear silence. They fear slowing down, being unseen, being forgotten. But it's in those very pauses that heaven is doing what you cannot do, stitching up a torn soul, cleansing wounds. You've hidden for years. When you can no longer cry, He cries for you. When you can't pray, the Holy Spirit prays through you. And when all you can do is breathe, He counts every breath as the most sacred kind of prayer. Picture yourself lying on that divine table, white light above, all the noise fading away, and only your heartbeat and His hands remain. A small tear, once a deep wound, is being stitched with the thread of mercy. A shadowed place in your heart is being illuminated by the lamp of hope. A painful memory, once unbearable, is touched by His hand and dissolves like smoke. No, you are not lazy. You haven't lost your fire. You are being healed on a level the world cannot see. Like a field freshly plowed, it looks messy, even broken, but only the farmer knows. This is the first step of a new season. So if today you can't pray, like before, can't focus, can't force yourself to move, whisper to yourself, it's okay. God is working. Don't rush to stand when He says, lie still. Don't act when He says rest, because in this silence He's rewriting the program of your heart. So you no longer run on fear, but live on peace. And there will come a moment when He softly whispers, it's finished. You can wake up now and you'll realize the pain that once made you tremble has lost its power. The memories that once made you weep are now light as clouds. Everything around you may look the same, but something deep within you has changed. Like someone rising from surgery, you may not walk fast at first, but day by day life will return. A deeper breath, a calmer sleep, a morning when you wake and your heart no longer feels heavy. That's not a loud miracle. It's the quiet miracle of restoration of a soul that's been reset, cleansed, renewed, and still. And when you hear the gentle wind outside your window, don't think it's just the breeze. It's heaven whispering you have been healed. Rise, eat, rest, and go on. For the journey ahead is long. From this moment forward, every breath you take will no longer be a burden. Every step, a word of gratitude. And every night's sleep, a small prayer to the one who loved you enough to place you in His divine operating room. Part 3. The Silent Saturday, the Rising Sunday. Have you ever been in a season so silent it frightened you? No more signs, no more miracles, no more feelings at all. Your prayers go up but seem to vanish into the air, and heaven stays blue, distant, and still. You're not in the storm anymore, but neither do you see the dawn. You're in Saturday, that strange space between the sorrow of Friday and the resurrection of Sunday. People rarely talk about that Saturday. The day when Christ was still in the tomb, the stone still unrolled, and the world believed the story was over. The disciples hid behind locked doors, their lamps flickering in the shadows. No one knew that while mankind despaired, heaven was preparing the greatest miracle of all. Chosen one, maybe that's where you are now in your own silent Saturday, between promise and fulfillment, between I will do great things for you and I see nothing happening, between faith and doubt, between patience and surrender. You've mistaken God's silence for abandonment, but the delay isn't denial. Delay is heaven's investment. Like a seed buried deep in the soil, no one sees it sprouting, but every second it lies hidden in the dark is a second closer to breakthrough. If someone dug it up too soon, they'd see nothing but a dry shell. And so heaven hides its work, not because nothing's happening, but because miracles need quiet incubation. God hasn't forgotten you. He's collecting interest on your prayers. Every tear you've cried, every time you whispered, I still believe, even when your voice trembled, it's all been deposited in His bank. And when the appointed time comes, heaven will return it with increase. Think of the disciples in that dark room. They still believed in Jesus, but fear pressed so hard that they locked the doors. You might be doing the same, closing your heart too, afraid to hope again, scared of believing only to be broken once more. But Jesus didn't wait for them to open the door. He came while it was still locked, because miracles don't need an entry point. Maybe your heart is locked right now. That's okay. He'll still come, not through the door, but through your breath. As long as you're alive, as long as your heart still beats. He's working. You're living your Saturday, the quiet day, but also the day of transition. The day heaven rewrites the script, gathers the fragments, and shapes them into something new. You haven't seen Sunday yet, but light is already leaking through the cracks of the stone. Remember this: no Friday is too dark. No Saturday is too silent to stop Sunday from rising. Faith is not believing after you see the miracle, it's holding on before it comes. When God is silent, He's measuring the patience of your soul. And sometimes patience isn't just waiting, it's peaceful waiting. Like a mother carrying life inside her, She doesn't rush the day of birth because she knows every heartbeat in her womb is shaping the miracle within. You're the same. The promise made over you is growing in the womb of time. So when you find yourself in this in-between space, don't despise it, cherish it, because the quiet is where miracles mature. Maybe you don't hear his voice today. That doesn't mean he's gone. He's standing in the stillness beside you, his hand on your shoulder, whispering, I know you're tired, but don't be afraid. I'm right here. Let that truth seep into you like morning light through the curtains. Take a deep breath. Feel your heartbeat slow, steady, alive. That's the rhythm of hope returning. And when you feel warmth rising in your chest, say softly, you don't have to shout, you don't have to pretend to be strong. Just speak it with the honesty of your heart. This is my turning night. Tonight is the night I shift. Not because everything around me changes, but because I do. I choose to believe this Saturday is not the end. It's the momentum before the miracle. Let those words echo in your soul, gentle yet deep. That's the moment you lift your head, smile through the tears, because even if you can't yet see the sunrise, you already know Sunday is coming. Part 4. The redeployment of the seasoned ones. People often say when you grow old, it's time to rest. Step back, let the younger ones run, let those still burning with dreams take over. But heaven does not speak that way. Heaven calls it not retirement, but redeployment. Maybe you felt that you're no longer useful, no longer needed. Your children are busy, they rarely call. The church has changed. Your words aren't heard as often. The world celebrates youth, speed, and noise. But don't let the world define your worth. Because in God's eyes, age is not a period, it's a crown. Every wrinkle on your face is a line written in the journal of faith. Every callus on your hands is a testimony of endurance. What you've walked through doesn't make you outdated. It makes you dangerous to darkness because you've learned how to stand in storms without needing to be seen. Remember Anna in the temple. She was 84, spending most of her life in quiet prayer and devotion. No fame, no crowd, no spotlight. Yet she, not the priests, not the scholars, was the first to recognize the Messiah when the baby Jesus was carried into the temple. Why? Because eyes that have seen much loss can recognize a miracle faster than anyone else. And Caleb, 85 years old, stood among men half his age and declared, "Give me this mountain." It wasn't a challenge born of pride, but the confidence of a man who knew he was born to fight until his last breath. Caleb didn't ask for comfort, he asked for conquest, because true faith never retires. And you, chosen one, how many times have you thought you were finished, that your time had passed? How many times have you watched the world change technology, language, lifestyle, and told yourself, maybe God is using another generation now, not me? But God smiles because he knows what you have yet to see. He always saves his most seasoned warriors for the final stretch of the battle. When the young are confused by the storm of the world, they need you not to shout, but to stand firm. When your children or grandchildren lose their way in the noise of modern life, you don't have to preach, just pray. Because the whisper of one who has endured carries more weight than the shout of a crowd. Look back and you'll see heaven has forged you through every season, through rain and heat loss and waiting. God didn't bring you to this age so you could sit still. He brought you here to pass down gentle authority, not authority of title, but of a soul that has been through fire and remained pure. A person who has hurt, waited, and believed can touch hearts with a single look, a quiet prayer, a soft smile. You don't have to do much, just be there. The moment you step into a room, the atmosphere changes because you carry a light earned through years of faithfulness. It's not a blazing light, it's steady, honest, and unshakable. And if you still think your time has passed, remember, Abraham fathered a child at 100, Moses led a nation at 80. Anna saw the Messiah with silver hair. Caleb claimed his mountain with a bent back. God doesn't count your years in numbers. He counts the times you stood back up after disappointment. You may be tired, but you're not done. You may move slower now, but every step you take carries sacred weight. Because He hasn't called you to retire, He's called you to stand guard, to be a shield of prayer for the next generation, to be a lamp still burning when the winds of the world blow hard. Tonight, as you sit in the quiet place, your hand over your heart and say slowly, "Give me this mountain." Say it as Caleb did, not as a command, but as a gentle, resolute declaration. Let each word sink deep into your soul like a seed planted in rich soil. Because the mountain you're asking for is not just a dream, it's your inheritance in God's mission. When you speak those words, heaven hears you, and hell trembles because it knows a person who has suffered and still believes, a person who has lost everything and still dares to say, "Give me this mountain," is a person no darkness can defeat. And so you who thought your journey was ending are actually stepping into the most glorious chapter of your faith-filled life. Part 5, From Whisper to Decree. The third watch of the night, that hour when the world seems to hold its breath. Outside, the wind has calmed. The city sleeps deep. Only the ticking of a small clock remains tick, 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 like the heartbeat of the universe. You stand there on the edge between night and dawn, where darkness hasn't yet withdrawn, but light has already begun to pour in. This is the threshold of every new beginning, the moment heaven often chooses to whisper to souls that know how to listen. Chosen one, you've come such a long way from the lonely desert to heaven's operating room, from the silence of Saturday to the rising of your Sunday. And now God places you at the doorway of authority, not the authority of power, but the authority of a purified voice. Once you prayed with tears, now you pray with ripened faith. Once you whispered to be heard, now you whisper to bless. Take a deep, slow breath. Feel the air entering warm, gentle. That's the breath of new life. When you speak, you don't need to shout. Heaven doesn't measure volume, it measures purity. A whisper born of true faith can shake the unseen realm. Start with something small. Pray for your family. Picture their faces, your children, your loved ones, even the ones who hurt you. Look at them in your mind and say softly, "May the peace of God cover them." That's enough. You don't need to preach. You don't need to prove, because when the chosen speak, heaven records. Remember Job, his restoration began when he prayed for his friends. The power of intercession isn't found in the answer, but in how it reshapes your heart to look more like his. Now look at yourself in the mirror. That face is no longer the face of weakness. It's the face of one who's walked through fire and didn't burn, who's endured storms and still carries light. Whisper these words slowly, clearly. The fire lives in me. This fire isn't anger, it's presence. Not loud, not destructive, but warm, deep, and luminous. A fire that knows when to burn and when to shine. That fire is God within you. He didn't ignite it for you to set the world aflame, but to warm the cold souls around you. And when you open your mouth to pray, that fire spreads silently but surely. Peace ripples outward, filling the room, crossing the walls, reaching the ones you love. If someone in your family is sick, call their name in your heart. If someone is distant, send them a breath. Because sometimes the gentlest prayer is a wordless exhale. As you breathe out, imagine every breath as a wave of light, soft, tender, touching them without a sound. God hears even the prayers you never speak aloud. This is your divine power, not the power to command, but the power to bless through stillness. You don't need a sword, you carry a voice that's been through fire. From this moment on, your words carry weight. They've been forged in loneliness, tempered in tears, and blessed by grace. Don't speak in haste. Speak like someone who knows each word is an arrow of light. When you say peace, the atmosphere shifts. When you say forgive, chains break. When you say, I believe, heaven moves. You've walked the whole journey from whisper to decree, from a seeker of miracles to a bearer of miracles. And as dawn begins to rise, as the first bird sings beyond your window, know this: you've been given the right to speak on behalf of light. The fire in you doesn't need to be proven. It only needs to be kept. Take one last breath of the night, then smile and whisper with gratitude. The fire lives in me, and it burns with peace. In that moment, you'll feel it not explosive power, but the gentle strength of peace. Because in that stillness, God is still whispering, you have overcome. Now live in peace and carry this light into the world. You are not forgotten. You are chosen. The sky begins to change. The first light slips through the curtain, soft as a hand resting on your shoulder. A distant bell rings one last time, its tone fading into the air, leaving a tender silence behind. You sit there in the same room that once held your loneliness, now bathed in gold. No fireworks, no shouts, just peace, the kind you've been searching for all along, now filling every breath. Let me say this once more, slowly, clearly, a seal from heaven upon your heart. You are not forgotten. You are chosen. You are not abandoned. You are not invisible. Your name has been written, engraved, and kept in the heart of the one who formed you. Everything you've endured, the pain, the waiting, the silence, the tears, were all pieces of a greater design. No tear was wasted. No night was meaningless. Each one shaped the person you've become, strong, gentle, and brave enough to carry light to others. Chosen one, this is not the end, it's the beginning. You were healed to become a healer. You were loved to love deeper. You were called by name so you could become the voice that calls others out of the dark. From this moment, you are no longer just a listener, you are sent. Not to preach from pulpits, not to shout from platforms, but to live slowly, truthfully, and let the light within you shine on its own. Every smile you offer, every word of comfort, every whispered prayer is God's light flowing through you. And when you hear the bell fading outside, know this: it's not a farewell, it's ascending. Heaven is releasing you not to carry the weight of the world, but to carry peace wherever your feet may go. If your heart feels warm, if your eyes sting with tears, if something within you whispers, yes, I hear you, then confirm it now. Type in the comments, Amen, or the number 7, the sign of completion, or 444, the mark of angels, a signal that you have been seen. Don't keep this to yourself. Share this message with someone who needs to hear what you just heard, because sometimes one word, one click, one small act of faith can rescue a soul that thought it was forgotten. And if you haven't joined this family yet, subscribe, not just to follow, but to be part of a community of light, faith, and healing, where we remind each other daily, you are not lost, you are not invisible, you are chosen. Let that be your blessing for today. Carry it with you as you rise, as you face the world, as you smile at a stranger. You are not forgotten, you are chosen, and this world, it needs the light that shines through you. Amen. 777. A 44. Believe, share, walk in peace.